Can you believe that meeting? It looks like we're both gonna need plenty of coffee. I can't believe how much work Brenda's dumped on us our first week here. You'd think she'd at least have the decency to start us off slow and easy.
Well, she's the head of the department, and with the crisis in that line of Market Street computers, there's probably pressure.
What a fiasco. Months of hype from the manufacturers, and still nobody can get them to work.
I wonder what Brenda's gonna do about all the people who've already brought their computers in to be serviced.
Oh, she's gonna dump that on us. We already have to call the manufacturers, call the other service departments, and make a database of complaints. Not to mention making a list of parts and distributors.
It is a lot of work. Do you want to go through the notes from the meeting to see who does what or something? Does that sound like a good idea?
The last thing I need is another meeting. All right. I'll call the manufacturers and the other service departments. What you should do is sit down.
Michael, don't you think that we should go through our notes?
Well, hello again, Angie.
Oh,
Michael.
Hi. I'm sorry, you were at the meeting?
Yes. I'm Nancy Gaines, the Human Resource Manager. I was in your shoes a couple of years ago when I joined the company.
We were just chatting about the meeting. It's a big problem.
I mean, the nightmare with Market Street computers. It's a disaster for retailers and their service departments like us. But then again, this is exactly the type of thing we handle all the time. A problem pops up, and Brenda, your supervisor, needs all the facts. Look, you guys have come on board at a really tough time. It's hard enough to learn the tricks of the trade with a new company, much less in a time of crisis. Why don't you meet me in the conference area at about 11, and I'll tell you what it takes to do well here. Okay?
Sounds good.
See you then. When I ran into Michael and Angie in the break room on their first day on the job, I could see they had their work cut out for them. Starting a new job always has its challenges, but new employees need to understand that success often hinges as much on projecting a professional image as on the quality of their work. I had a chance at the meeting and in the break room to see how Angie and Michael presented themselves and interacted with colleagues, from peers to supervisors. While they have contrasting personalities and styles, Angie is as introverted as Michael is extroverted. Both of them could use some help with the common ground rules of professional behavior. As the HR manager, I often tell new employees that there are 3 things they need to do to project a professional image: recognize and adjust to an organization's culture, avoid common mistakes that will undermine their credibility, and create alliances that will boost their career.
Well, I have a question for you.
Sure.
What exactly did you mean by, would you say, an organization's culture?
Well, there are common ground rules for fitting into any workplace. Things like the way you communicate, your appearance, and what your workspace looks like. Let's start with communication. For instance, Michael, I happened to overhear Angie say she wanted to sit down with you, compare some notes, and then divide up the work.
Do you want to go through the list from the meeting and see who does what or something?
The last thing I need is another meeting.
Instead, you dictated what Angie should do, then you jotted down your tasks on a little scrap of paper. This type of informality just isn't professional.
What you should do...
Did you notice how Brenda ran her meeting? She had a formal agenda, she backed up her key points with plenty of documentation, and she started and stopped the meeting precisely on time. So, this should tell you that her communication style is going to be formal too. You can expect plenty of carefully written memos and structured meetings. The basic rule is, the style of communication flows from the leaders to the employees, not the other way around. To be professional, an employee needs to adapt to the prevailing communication style at their workplace. Does this make sense?
I think I understand what you're saying.
But there's more to being professional than just your communication style. Let's talk about your appearance. Choose clothes that are in style, not flashy. Dress to impress, not make a personal statement. It's important to note how others in the organization dress. I make it my own personal motto to dress as well as my boss does.
Well, now that you mention it, people do dress a little more formally here. So I guess this outfit doesn't cut it, does it?
I think you're right about that. In addition to noticing how others dress, make sure you read the employee handbook and follow the dress code. Remember, it's better to be on the conservative side with your makeup and accessories. Observe your coworkers and notice the standard for details like sandals and open-toed shoes, skirt length, and hosiery.
I like your suit, though.
Thank you.
Male employees also need to be aware of their appearance. In many organizations, visible tattoos, body piercings, and brightly dyed hair will be perceived as unprofessional. And keep in mind that some people are sensitive to strong perfumes and colognes, so avoid them. Another aspect of becoming a professional is how you maintain your workspace. If most of the people at your company keep their desks free of personal items or clutter, you should too. Your goal is to project a professional image that's in line with your company's standards.
Hi.
Great picture.
Oh, thanks. You like it?
This looks a lot better. Yeah. While first impressions are important, new employees like Angie and Michael will find that the key or roadblock to their success in the long term lies in their conduct on the job. Learning to avoid mistakes that undermine professionalism often involves avoiding excessive behavior, such as letting personal distractions interfere with work, giving inappropriate opinions, or bragging about yourself. Let's take a look at the first offense.
So this movie was really bizarre. It was all about this hotshot woman detective, see? And she's trying to figure out who murdered this pilot, who had murdered this real estate tycoon, who murdered this casino mobster.
All employees, new and established, should avoid making excessive personal calls, writing personal emails, or surfing the web. Such activities not only hurt productivity, they can undermine reputations.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Too much noise in the workplace is rude and stressful. Turn off cell phones when they're not needed, speak without shouting, and keep music turned down if it's appropriate to play it at all. Hi, Michael. I have some forms for you to fill out.
I'm at work, I gotta go. What you got there?
Michael made himself look unprofessional by letting personal distractions interfere with his work. But other workplace mistakes can be equally embarrassing. Let's see how Angie gets herself in hot water by expressing an inappropriate opinion.
I'm almost finished.
No problem. Just a horrendous deadline. I'm keeping an eye out. Do you know Nancy Gaines?
Yes.
She's constantly popping out of the woodwork. She's such a busybody.
You must be new. I don't think we've met. I'm Jeff Donald, Nancy Gaines' boss. In fact, I hired Nancy.
It's better to withhold a personal opinion unless someone asks for it. Don't learn the hard way, as Angie did. When others do seek an opinion, use diplomatic language, sharing positive and negative views. Replace harsh judgments with neutral observations.
Of course. I'm so sorry. That was really rude of me. Well, I better get back to my report. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Offering unsolicited opinions will not win you friends or respect. So apply this rule. Never say something about someone unless you would say it to his or her face. Otherwise, there's a risk of being tagged as a malicious gossip. Another way to hurt your reputation is bragging. Let's watch.
So, as I was saying, I'm in charge of contacting Market Street Computers. So I basically had to put these guys in their place. I told them that I'm considered an expert on the subject, and I started slinging a lot of techno-speak to show them I knew exactly what's going on.
Michael, just keep in mind that you're representing the company as a professional in these conversations. People don't take kindly to a know-it-all, and bragging is a common mistake for people who are trying too hard to make a good impression.
Well, aren't people more likely to respect somebody who knows what they're talking about?
Sure, don't hide your valuable expertise, but don't overstate your skills either. You just might find yourself in an embarrassing situation of being overwhelmed.
Well, actually, that has happened to me.
It's happened to the best of us. Now that we've seen some of the behaviors to avoid, the third step to becoming a true professional is learning to create alliances. Any organization is a network of allies, and whether or not employees perceive themselves as joiners or loners in their personal lives, they will need to develop alliances in the workplace to thrive and progress. At the end of their first week, Angie and Michael met one more time to prepare for the next meeting with Brenda. Let's see how these two very different personalities learn to develop productive and professional alliances in the workplace. Brenda has set them off to a good start by assigning them to a joint project. She's asked them to prepare a report on all problems related to the Market Street computer line and present the results to her in a meeting.
Now, we definitely have to present it as one total package. I mean, we've already divided the work up as Brenda suggested, but I think she sees it as one big report that covers all the bases. What do you think, Angie?
Well, I'm not sure. Actually, I think you're right. Brenda would appreciate a cover letter and a table of contents that separates everything. What do you think?
Working with others to make decisions helps in the crucial process of team building. Even if a new employee is not much of a joiner, he or she should take every opportunity to join project teams.
That would be more formal looking, and I know Brenda likes that sort of thing. You know, I'm pretty handy with design software. Maybe I could whip out a cover sheet.
That's right, you're on the design team. You know, I was an art major. Is there room for one more?
You bet. You know, there are a lot of really good people on that team. And I'm sure you could find somebody to help you with the layout for the new repair discs.
Joining teams is a great way for employees to build visibility and forge alliances with peers and leaders within the company. And, most often, the outcome will be stronger for the joint effort. That benefits everyone.
I just hope I can have the repair specs ready in time before the next meeting.
That sounds great, Angie. You'll be really welcome on the team.
In almost any circumstance, employees can find something to praise in a coworker's performance.
Michael, you're such a technical whiz. I should have known you'd have these specs done.
Angie and Michael also learned to be diplomats. They demonstrated these new skills to me when they prepared for their meeting with Brenda. At every meeting, always be observant of how others handle their jobs, and make sure the praise is authentic, not obviously self-serving. So, where do we stand on those reports? Brenda always wants to see them before they're published.
That's what we thought,
So I'd like to give you my report. I mean, Angie, do you think each of us should present our own work?
Absolutely. Why don't we each give a summary, just so that we can see how it sounds?
Good idea. Would you like to start?
Did you notice how Angie and Michael use questions, not statements, to broach delicate issues? This allowed each of them to become invested in the outcome by having input. In this way, new employees will be building support for future projects.
So it looks like we're all set for that meeting with Brenda.
One last surefire way to win allies in the workplace is simply to be helpful. Volunteer to do favors that will make coworkers' lives easier. If you're a technical whiz, save a colleague from having to call the IT help desk without being condescending. If someone needs to move boxes, offer to help the person after work. It's amazing how people will remember small acts of kindness for years to come. What's left? Let's see how Angie and Michael did in their big meeting with Brenda.
We nailed it.
It was so cool to see Brenda with that great big smile, like she couldn't wait to read every page.
By the end of their first week, Angie and Michael had made outstanding progress. They learned how to observe and adapt to their company's organizational culture, how to avoid common workplace mistakes, and how to create alliances that will make them essential members of a team while boosting their own careers. These are the skills that define professional behavior, whatever the job.
I really think she was relieved, not because she didn't think we could do it, but now she can go to the manufacturers with rock-solid data and ask for something big, really big, like a total recall of the computers.
That'll help everyone. You know, it really makes a difference to know that you're making a difference.
Makes all that hard work worth it.
Angie, Michael, I'd like you two to meet our newest employee, Melissa Johnson.
Nice to meet you, Melissa. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Why don't we go to my office and have a little chat?
Don't worry. She'll soon fit right in.
For more ways to improve the performance of your personnel, check out these programs from Briefings Publishing Group. Sink or Swim Teamwork, we're all in this together. Get Organized and Stay Organized, the 7-day plan for putting your work life in order. And You are the organization, every employee's public relations role.